Cathy Michelle Koreana White, also known as Corey by her friends, was born in Fort Park, Louisiana on July 3rd, 1982. At some time during her youth, she moved to Virginia with her family and attended school there. Cathy made sure her grades were up to par because she was able to graduate from Maury High School in Norfolk, Virginia in the year 2000. She went on to continue her education and earned her degree as a Howard University graduate in the year 2004. As an adult, she pursued a career in entrepreneurship and became a beauty and fitness guru, which worked out well for her because, as you can see, Cathy was stunning. But she was more than just a pretty face. She was very smart and sociable, so it wasn't far-fetched when she took on the role as a publicist in the entertainment industry. She initially devoted all her time, skills, and resources to other publications, but then eventually moved on to become the CEO of her own public relations enterprise called White Label PR. As Cathy maneuvered throughout the industry between the mid-2000s and early 2010, she of course became acquainted with the who's who's and the need to knows. One of her good friends was said to be reality star and host of Fox Soul's Cocktail with Queens, Claudia Jordan. Now, according to the whispers of the people who were close to the likes of Cathy and Claudia, allegedly Claudia was quite jealous of Cathy. Blog site Hollywood Street Kings was very popular back then, and they reported how Claudia used to drag Cathy's name through the mud behind her back. She would talk about how Cathy had all these designer items, hundreds of thousands worth of shoes and bags, but lived in this little one-bedroom messy apartment. She also couldn't understand how Cathy would pull the big ballers. You see, back then, Claudia had a reputation for being a side chick to guys with the big bag, and Cathy, being her friend, was also known to only deal with men with money. But regardless of the rumors, Cathy remained a friend to Claudia, even gifting her a $3,000 Louis Vuitton bag for her birthday. Now, that may sound like small change in terms of luxury brands today, but back in the days, pretty much, like 13 years ago, that was quite the coin. And clearly at the time, Cathy was a go-getter. She got to the bag, hence her ability to snag men who got to the bag as well, which leads us to her association with none other than Mr. Sean Jay-Z Carter. So Jackie Jasper of Hollywood Street Kings got some information sent to him in late August, early September of 2010 that Miss Cathy White was the alleged mistress of rapper Jay-Z. According to the blog Hollywood Street Kings, their source was privy to this information because Jason Lee, which the only Jason Lee in entertainment that I know of is the Hollywood Unlocked Jason Lee, he told the source this information about Cathy because he and Cathy were friends, and Cathy told Jason Lee her tea with Jay-Z. I hope you're keeping up with me here. So now Hollywood Street Kings reports this information on their site, and it goes what we now know to be viral. Now, we know that Jay-Z and Beyonce have been married since 2008, but they've been together since about 2001. Well, during their relationship before they got married is allegedly when Cathy and Jay-Z began their affair. And things became a spectacle when a photo was released that showed how Cathy was actually hanging out with Jay-Z at Las Vegas's Town nightclub in September of 2009, along with Claudia and Diddy at their table during the Mayweather versus Juan Manuel Marquez fight, and Beyonce was not in attendance. Now, I tried to pull up a photo of the four of them all together at the table, but the image is actually nowhere to be found. It's literally been scrubbed off the internet, and you'll see why that's a very peculiar fact. However, I was able to find a photo of the four of them at the nightclub together, just not sitting together at the table. They were all about several feet away from each other. Even this photo was oddly inaccessible to an extent because when I searched the image, I clicked on the site that the image came from, and the site isn't even accessible anymore. Very peculiar. It was also alleged that Hove copped a big, beautiful diamond ring for Cathy, which is eerily identical to the ring that he got for his wife, Beyonce. Was Jay-Z that bold to get both women the same ring? I'll let you be the judge of that. But anyways, all this information is still available on the Hollywood Street Kings blog site today. Now, unfortunately, one whole year later, after their affair was revealed on September 2nd, 2011, 29-year-old Cathy White was pronounced dead by way of a brain aneurysm just several days after Beyonce announced her pregnancy with her firstborn, Blue Ivy, at the 2011 VMAs Awards and 2 days before Beyonce's birthday. Now, why am I even mentioning Beyonce, and what does she have to do with Cathy White? We'll revisit Beyonce in a bit. Now, let's go back to Jackie Jasper of Hollywood Street Kings. He said that he spoke directly to the NYPD on the day of Cathy's death at approximately 5 p.m. And during said conversation, NYPD told Jackie that Cathy's cause of death was listed as natural until further investigation was conducted, but they were uncertain about the true matter of her cause of death. Here's the exact words that NYPD told Jackie. Quote, "A 911 call came in from an apartment on 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan. Ambulance came and took Cathy because she was sick. They took her to the Beth Israel Hospital, and that's where she expired. It was too early to be speculating that an aneurysm killed her. They will be doing an autopsy later today to check out her cause of death, but someone might have given Cathy a bad drug, so they'll do a toxicology test, and we'll have to wait 2 weeks for that report." End quote. Now, there were reports out there that say Cathy was actually found deceased in her apartment and didn't place the 911 call herself. But based on what Jackie says the NYPD told him, she wasn't found deceased. She was still alive. So that poses the question, how did Cathy White really die and why? Well, according to reports, a couple weeks before her unfortunate demise, there allegedly was a major tabloid. It isn't clear which one, but supposedly a major tabloid had reached out to Cathy in regards to the rumors of her and Jay's affair. Apparently, she didn't really give them too much information. However, allegedly, she did make a phone call to Jay-Z to inform him that she was getting ready to go public about their relationship, which, as you can imagine, would have been a horrible look for him. I mean, he was married to the R&B pop star sweetheart Beyonce, whom he was grooming to his perfection. And just a side note, Beyonce's sister Solange was very much aware of Jay's infidelity even before him and Cathy's relationship. Apparently, Jay was pursuing a woman named Olivia McFarlane, also known as Liv, who began to run a blog site after her attempted rap career failed.
We connected on some hip-hop shit. He could be himself with me and he dig that shit. Us two attracted like some magnets, and us crossing paths was no accident. When I stepped out his life, I took a piece of his heart. I know he still closed his eyes and see me in the dark. I bet he wish I just stayed and played my part, imagining what could have been with no regard.
One night, Jay-Z was out with his people at Nobu in Miami, which included Solange. She was a part of that entourage, when he actually approached Liv while she was with her friends. And allegedly, he and Liv slid off into a private area where Liv gave him her number. And apparently, Solange chose to just mind her business that night, and nothing ever really actually even came of Liv and Ho's situation anyway. Now, the theory that's being presented is that Cathy may have been trying to extort Jay-Z for money. You see, Cathy was allegedly offered money by the tabloid that initially reached out to her asking about the affair, but she declined. She was more so heated to have learned that B was pregnant with her first child when she announced it on the VMAs. So because of that alleged envy, that's what led her to the alleged attempted extortion of Jay-Z, and of course, the obvious, to devastate Beyonce and humiliate her publicly. So if Cathy spoke to Jay-Z about her plans to go public with their relationship, and then right after his wife announces her pregnancy is when Cathy coincidentally and suddenly passes under suspicious circumstances, and the police acknowledge that it was under suspicious circumstances, then I tend to pose the question, why didn't investigators look into her most recently contacted people at that time? Why didn't they investigate further into the suspicious death and just let the story of the brain aneurysm run rampant? Could it be that Cathy White was silenced? Now, a friend of Jay's who has remained nameless spoke out on his behalf back then and basically said Jay has nothing to do with whatever happened to Cathy because he has too much to lose and he's an idiot. He also said it was impossible for Jay to get Cathy the same ring as Beyonce because apparently Jay-Z just isn't that stupid. He said instead Jay would have gifted Cathy a different ring, but you sort of fooled yourself, so again, you be the judge. He also said Jay had his quote-unquote first baby on the way and wouldn't do anything to jeopardize his position in that child's life. Now, I find the part about Jay having his quote-unquote first child with Beyonce pretty funny because it is widely known, or assumed I should say, that Jay had about 3 children before he ever had any children with Beyonce, and they all look just like him. You have Ramir Satterwhite, Letitia Macer, and a little boy whose name was never revealed that he allegedly shares with a Trinidadian model, Chanel Scott, who should be about 20 years old now. And when this tea with Chanel Scott was revealed, it was ironically shortly after the death of Cathy. But back to all the irony in this story. You see, the details of Cathy's autopsy and toxicology report has never been made public, even to this day. In fact, this story alone has never made it to the mass media or the big publications, and it makes you wonder, why? Only people who are really on the inside of the industry, close to these handlers, these top earning celebs, know what really goes on and what's really happened. So of course people talk and things get leaked, but that's why I'm over here on Patreon with this, because some people have tried to tell the story and they've had to remove it from their platforms once certain people, Jay-Z, caught whiff of it. But Jay-Z isn't the only one in his marital duo that plays a part in this Cathy White tragedy. Remember earlier I said we come back around to why Beyonce's name is brought into all this? You see, it's said that Mrs. Carter is known to make things happen when it comes to her husband's mistresses once things are either about to get exposed or it becomes something more than what she already knew about. Yes, Beyonce has always been very well aware of how her husband got around. Remember I told you about the nameless friend that was defending Jay-Z? Well, according to him, another reason why he claims Jay couldn't have had anything to do with Cathy's death is because he wouldn't have tried to hide anything from B, since she was already well aware of who Cathy was and the role that she played to Jay. Remember, I told you Cathy was around before he even married Beyonce. But as I was saying, B has a reputation of getting her lick back with these mistresses once she feels left out or feels like said mistress will expose these dynamics of her marriage. You see, Beyonce is fantastic at pretending to be this demure, innocent, gullible woman so she can keep her good girl image. But let's not forget how Beyonce really give it up. Let's not forget how even 50 was shocked when Beyonce bucked up at him because she thought there was some static between him and Jay-Z.
And B was, one time she jumped off of the ledge. Came running over because she thought me and Jay had. And I was like, did she really just jump down and run over here like that?
Beyonce jumped off a ledge.
Yeah, what happened? It was in the Cosmopolitan, huh?
She really a superhero.
She jumped down and no, she was like this, what? Like that Bonnie and Clyde for real. You try this or what, boy? I'm here. Word. She bucked down like at me. She looked, I said,
was Solange with her?
She looked at me like that. I was like, what? I looked, Jay started laughing. He was like, yo, you know.
So Beyonce jumped down on you.
She jumped down. Oh, she was like on a windowsill.
Right.
We was in Vegas. She said, come on, I'm talking to her. She jumped down. She was like, duh, duh, duh. And I'm like, wait, what is she doing? That stuff, that's me and Jay-Z stuff. This ain't got nothing to do with you, girl. Don't come on.
So Hov wasn't there?
I'm talking to Jay.
Talking to Jay.
As soon as I talked to Jay, she jumped down, came over. I said, oh shit, look at this.
They about to jump you.
Nah, she came like she was ready.
She's
like
ready.
I thought something was gonna happen. And I'm like, yo, whoa. She's throwing me off now. Because I don't know exactly how to respond to this. You are still Beyonce. You know, she brought all of the sexy over. With that energy, jumping off, and I'm like, what the fuck was going on? I thought she, I'm so. I said, oh, what the fuck got going on, man?
Be at the helm.
They jumped down off of the joint. Like, what? What's up? Oh.
That's crazy.
Matter of fact, Floyd was there. We was in the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Vegas, and I would bring him to say what's up to Jay, because Jay don't really like him.
Why Jay don't like Floyd?
Oh, he probably said something, you know.
So as you just heard, even 50 said Jay just kind of laughed and looked at him like, well, you know how it is. Like, nah, we didn't know how it was, but clearly we can see Beyonce ain't all calm, quiet, and collective as people think. In fact, some of Cathy's friends allegedly said more than a year before B and J got married, Beyonce actually called Cathy to confront her about seeing Jay-Z. They said she was yelling and threatening to fight Cathy, and I can actually see that happening. So I think it's pretty clear to see how and why people feel like Beyonce would have wanted Cathy out of the picture for good. Just because B knew of Cathy and her position with her husband doesn't mean she was happy about it, especially knowing this woman was trying to extort her husband and take money out of her and her baby's mouth. Absolutely not. You heard her on Ring the Alarm. You can't stay, you gotta go. Ain't no other chick spending your dough. I don't want you, but I want it and I can't let it go. But this is my show and I won't let you go. All has been paid for and it's mine. See what I'm saying? Funny thing is, it's alleged that the song was about Cathy White specifically. Ring the Alarm came out in 2006, so that's 5 years before the death of Cathy and 3 years after B initially began dating Jay-Z. Wow. That's a long time to be sharing your man with another woman. So, you know, Beyonce was not about to let her gravy train go. It's even said that she don't even like Jay for real, but since she was groomed by him, he's her handler and she already knew she'd be set for life, she'd be damned if some shorty she never liked anyway will be extorting her husband and taking what's basically hers. Think about it. Now, remember I told you there was some confusion about whether or not Cathy passed away in her apartment and someone else called 911 for her, or if she called 911 herself and passed away after, either at the hospital or on her way there. Well, if Cathy passed away from an aneurysm, then she wouldn't have been the one who made the call, because death from an aneurysm is very sudden. There isn't really a clear sign that you're about to pass away to leave you with time to call an ambulance. So if she made the call herself, then the aneurysm narrative is pretty hard to believe. On top of the fact that her cause of death was never truly confirmed. Autopsy reports were never revealed, and investigators admitted that her death was under suspicious circumstances. One of the several things I found to be very interesting while researching this story is how Cathy White has pretty much no information about her on the internet. No family background information, no details about her upbringing, past workplaces, or any of the general stuff you can normally and usually find on people when looking them up, because for the most part, this type of information is pretty much public. But Cathy's whole existence has been wiped clean from the public, other than some of the independent blogs who kind of covered this story back then. Even her funeral information is nowhere to be found. Literally, everything wiped clean. Why do you think so much information from a person who was basically a public figure, so to speak, and who was known in the industry and linked to one of the most powerful figures in the industry, missing? One thing I learned about researching stories and studying cases, a lot of times the truth seems way stranger than a lie. So I want to know, what do you think happened to Cathy? Did she really pass away from a sudden brain aneurysm? Was she drugged? Was she silenced? Was she murdered? Did Jay-Z and even Beyonce have a hand in her disappearance? I want to send my deepest condolences to the loved ones of Cathy, Michelle, Koreana, Corey White.